morning, everyone. It is 7 a.m. on a Wednesday morning, and we are going to be beating seasonal depression before it beats us because, listen, when this video comes out, it'll be November. We're inching in. We're basically here at this point, and the sun is basically slowly becoming non-existent. I felt like this week was the first week where it was like consecutive days where the sun wasn't really out. And so yesterday I started to feel, actually maybe it was on Monday, but even yesterday, I started to feel myself like waking up and like I knew the sun wasn't coming out and I kind of felt like lazy. I didn't really want to get ready. I was like, well, I have like computer work and to edit and things like that, so maybe I just won't get ready and I'll just chill. And I just felt like not really that motivated. I also found myself like wanting to have a second cup of coffee, like just certain habits that really give me a dopamine kick, but I know aren't necessarily the best, like even sitting around scrolling on your phone because you're like procrastinating because you don't feel motivated to do anything. So I was like, you know what, tomorrow, girl, listen, first of all, you're gonna vlog because I know that there's probably a lot of you guys who are gonna experience this as well, but we're not going to ease up, okay? We have goals, we have healthy habits, we have things we wanna do in our lives, and we don't need the weather to dictate these things all the time. Now, listen, I don't take seasonal depression lightly. I don't take depression lightly. I don't take mental health really lightly. I've struggled with mental health all my life. It runs through my veins. It runs through my bloodline, okay? Both sides of my family, and addiction as well, and just really hard things that I have gone through, family line has gone through, you guys have probably gone through as well. So I don't want to come across as like, oh, it's fine, like let's just beat seasonal depression and it's like never gonna happen. I am very aware that there's just things that sometimes you just can't do, you know? And especially after you get into those deep winter months, like consecutively not having sun or like longer days and stuff, it'll beat you down a little bit. But I feel like over the years I have learned how to beat it a lot better. But I think what's helped me the most is doing my best to cut out those habits that will just keep me in that spiral and that loop. So things like sleeping in, not getting ready for the day, not having any goals, not fueling myself, not moving my body consistently, not getting the proper amount of sleep, consuming way too much content and opinions and everyone else's lives online, not speaking to myself kindly, not eating right, not having a plan, essentially. Like those are all things that of course are going to make you a little bit more susceptible to those days where it's really gloomy. So I'm just going to bring you guys through a few days of my life just to give you guys some motivation, and I'll show you guys what I'm doing because like I am not trying to really like lose myself right now. There's things that I still want to do even though the sun's not going to be out. It might actually come out like for a second. Today I'm not exactly sure, but the next few days it's not really going to be out. So I feel like right now it's kind of like this weird in-between time where the time still hasn't changed. So it is literally 7 o'clock and it's still pitch black. So during these like early mornings that I have, because usually I wake up at like 5 a.m. these days because I'm just getting such good sleep, I just try and be productive and just start my morning routine. I don't like wait around for the sun to come out. So I had a shower. I actually just washed my hair because I needed to. Did some skincare like I just said. Also Athena Club. Okay, this is my favorite natural deodorant. Okay, I've tried so many of them over the years and this is the best one. And mainly it's the best one because you see how there's like a little like glaze on that. It slides so nicely on your armpits, which you guys know those natural deodorants that just kind of feel like sandpaper. Like Native, I liked Native for a really long time, but once I tried this I was like, damn. Anyways, this is not sponsored, but they did give me a discount code, Alicia15 I think, or something. I'll have it linked down below. It's not like affiliated or anything, they just gave it to me when they sent this. So if you guys were interested in getting this deodorant, I would definitely get it. But of course, like getting up and out of your bed and getting ready is gonna really help you on the right foot, honestly, because if you stay in bed and you scroll and you just don't do anything, like even if you don't really have anything to do until like later in the day, I do find, especially on these like gloomy days, just get out of bed and get ready and like act as if you have something to do. Act as if you are somebody who has somewhere to be, or has a goal to accomplish or something. Also in the mornings, I like to play some jazz music like on my phone or around the house. I just feel like this gets me in such a good mood, and lately I just have not been liking listening to any sort of like commentary or vlogs and stuff until when I'm like eating and like can sit down and focus on something, because I just feel like that clears my mind and I'm actually more ready for the day. So anyways, the next thing I like to do when I am woken up, and sometimes I'll take a shower like right in the morning if I want to do my hair, or maybe I'll do it like after a walk. I try not to have wet hair when I'm going for a walk, but I really needed to have a shower this morning. And sometimes it's just good to just get into the shower like right in the morning. But I like to take a probiotic. So I'm just taking this one from NFH. And then of course, okay, the holy grail, vitamin D. Right now I'm pairing a normal vitamin D 3 drop with vitamin D that is paired with K2. It's really great to take your vitamin D with K2, but I don't want to take too many of these K2 drops, so I have like just extra vitamin D. So that is what I take, and I take it in the morning. It's best to take it in the morning as if you were actually getting sunlight. So these are the two things that I'm going to take, and I'm going to eat, because that is another thing that is very important. When we are depressed, when we don't feel good, it is really important that we eat. And I know sometimes it can be hard, especially in the mornings. I'm not necessarily like somebody who has the biggest appetite, but I have worked myself up to this. But I used to be somebody who would just coffee in the morning, and then I would eat later in the day, and then maybe another coffee. And it's just like not good. It's not good for the gut health. It's not good for our mental health. So right now I'm actually just finishing up a butternut squash soup that I made in last week's vlog. If you haven't watched that, then go watch it, because I showed you guys how I made it, and it is just so perfect. I really love having soup in the morning. I just think it's easy to digest, for me at least, and it's not too heavy, but I do like to add some protein, because I am somebody who really does like to make sure that I'm getting an adequate enough of protein. Now I have this chicken drumstick here from this roast that I had for a few days, so I'm just gonna literally just add a few pieces onto here and then have it on the side. I'm gonna warm all this up. Oh my gosh, I keep forgetting. I really would rather put my soup on the stove and cook it in a little pot, and I keep putting it in a bowl and then I just put it in the microwave. I keep forgetting that. It's fine, it's not a big deal. I'm gonna put this in the microwave and eat this. Next thing I like to do, and this is big all throughout the winter, this is big even through the summer, but it's movement all the time, every day. And you know, there's different types of movement that I will do throughout my life. You know, if I'm in a workout phase of going to the gym and lifting weights, or I'm doing yoga or Pilates. But there's also another section which is just getting my steps in. And I make sure that I am always getting outside every single day, because it's just transformed my mental health. It has transformed also my cardiovascular health and just my overall health. Like there's just no reason why we shouldn't be getting up and moving. Obviously, unless like we're sick, we have a disability, we can't do that. There's obviously been times in my life where I haven't really been able to get up as much as I've liked, but I really do my best to move. So every time I'm done eating my breakfast, I like to go on a walk like right after that, because I just feel like it's the best time, and usually that's right in the morning. The sun might come out for like a second, which is perfect, because I feel like on gloomy days, like sometimes you will see the beginning of the sunrise and then it goes gloomy all day, and then right before the sun is about to set, it will come out sometimes. I mean, sometimes it won't. So I always try to make sure to get out around that time, just in case I can get some sun, but regardless, moving is just so therapeutic. So I'll probably listen to a podcast. I'm just gonna go by the water. Sometimes I don't like to listen to anything. It just depends on my mood. And I think a walk can do so much for you and change your mental health. And I feel like if you're in a point where you're not motivated to go to the gym, or you're not motivated to really get up and do much, just going on a walk with no intention of it needing to change the way that you even feel or do anything physically for you, like you know, body image wise, really does help keep you stable throughout times where nothing's really motivating, because it gets you out of your head. It gets you out of the stuck energy that you're sitting in. Even if things feel really good, I feel like you just need to break up your day. So that's what I love to do with walks. So with that said, I'm just wearing this hoodie that I was wearing, I think, when I was eating. This is my jacket, my puffer jacket from Aritzia. I got it last year. I'll have it linked. It's really nice. I like the corduroy like material type of thing. I think for some reason it just makes me feel like it's warmer and it's less annoying than the slippery fabric that some of the Super Puffs are in. Not to say the Super Puffs aren't cute. Like I would totally take the black one, but this is the one that I have and I really like it. And then I'm also wearing these cargo track pants. These are from Aritzia and they're just like a, not wide leg, but they're like straight leg. And I love these. You guys know I got another pair as well in gray. They look so good on, but I also just like the fact that I can go on like a morning walk and they look fine to me. I mean, obviously this outfit is not like the cutest, but I don't care. Whoever is on a morning walk in the morning, they're not judging your outfit. And if they are, then they can literally go over there because I'm just trying to get my steps in. So anyways, let's go outside. Back from our walk and the sun was out, as you could see. And I was thinking when I was on my walk, really just never know how a day will turn out. And I always like to try and remind myself of that, because I feel like sometimes when we wake up knowing that it's gonna be like gloomy days or just nothing is motivating us, it's almost like we predetermine how the day is gonna be. Like, oh, it's gonna be a crappy day, or oh, I'm not gonna feel like I wanna go to the gym, or oh, I'm just gonna not feel good today. But try your best to leave room for like, maybe today is gonna end up being the best day ever. Who knows? Who literally knows? And I do that all the time when it comes to weather, because I think that it helped a lot. Even last year, where I would like check the weather and I would know for the most part, oh, the sun's not gonna come out. But then I would always tell myself, like, you never know. The sun could come out, even if it says that it's gonna be super cloudy. Like, you just never know. And even like outside of weather, you just never know how the day is gonna go. And of course, the sun was like beaming when it came out. The cutest dogs were out today. Like, there was something about today specifically where everyone's dogs were the cutest little things. I think I got a little clip of this one little puppy. I ended up stopping the lady and petting it. I don't know what type of dog that was, but it was the cutest, smallest little sweet, innocent little soul. Had green eyes. I really wanted to take a little video like up close, but I didn't want to, I don't know, annoy the lady. So I was just petting her and it just made me so happy. I ended up sitting on the bench as well, just taking in the sun and just giving myself a moment to be here now, because I've been somebody who's lived my life very go, 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 very fight or flight, very like trauma response, very like, let's get to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing, basically because I had to. But I just know that like there are gonna be moments where they're not as nice as they are now. Like, that's just life, right? Like, some days are better than others. So I just try, like, I'm almost 29. Next week I'm gonna be 29 on the 5th. I think I've come to this like big realization in my late 20s that really the only thing that you have right now is a present moment. And as much as like I've been somebody who's been really anxious and is always waiting for things to be perfect, like, I'm not gonna be happy until this happens, or I'm not gonna feel safe until these things are in place. It's really stripped me away from being safe to begin with in the present moment. And it's like a hard thing to contend with, because like when you're living in fight or flight for so many years and you don't know how to be okay with the unknown or the chaos in your life, or when things aren't feeling that good, it is going to be hard for you to like be here now and embrace the present moment. But I've practiced in my life just trying to be okay with the present moment, even if it's not perfect. And it's just gotten me such a far way. And I've really just been able to actually live my life and be happier just by being okay with, yep, not every single thing is perfect today, or yep, I don't feel the best today, or yep, these things are not in place, but how can I still be here? Because this is all I have right now. And I'm so sick of stripping myself from the present moment and not being in the present moment because I'm waiting for things to be better or be fixed or be more safe. It's not to mean that we don't want to work on making a life where it feels more safe and things are more in place and to work on goals. And sometimes you just have to remind yourself that like all you really have is the present moment. So can you do your best to dive into it? Can you go outside and just have a walk and just be happy with that walk if you can't do anything else? Can you find some sort of joy in your day, even if it's just like the most miserable day? Can you just be okay with the fact that you're just not gonna have a good day? Like all of those things. So it is 9 a.m. I'm gonna start getting to work. I like to, from Monday to Friday, at least have a pretty big chunk throughout my day where I am doing work, whether that is recording, editing, uploading, admin stuff, working on projects, things like that. I think that having some sort of project throughout the winter is gonna take you a long way because you have something to work on and something to look forward to. And the more that you accomplish something, you will release dopamine in your brain and you will literally feel better. So outside of my normal stuff like editing and things like that, I am working on a few projects behind the scenes, and some of these projects actually have a design component in it, which right now I am using Skillshare for that, which Skillshare is kindly sponsoring this video. Once again, thank you so much, Skillshare. I think this is a perfect time for me and even for you guys to dive into Skillshare. And if you guys don't know what Skillshare is, it is the largest online community for creatives with thousands of different classes led by people who are actually creatives, which is so good because I personally like to learn from people who have done it before. These experts will help you take your career, your skills, your hobbies, passions, and even side hustles to the next level. They have so many different classes that you can take for photography, graphic design, cooking, business, marketing. If you are trying to get into design or AI, anything to do with social media, like they have so many classes. One of the classes that I really like is from Maggie Stara. It is the social media content creation in Canva from beginner to advanced. So she walks you through how to really utilize and get the most out of Canva, which if you don't know what Canva is, it's a platform where you can use to make thumbnails. I've also even created my own digital guides. I have journal guides that were all made on Canva, so you can learn how to design your products the way that you want in a way that's very professional. This is also great if you are a student and you have projects, or even if you work like a corporate 9 to 5, you can really create so many great pieces of work using Canva by taking a class from Skillshare and somebody actually walking you through how to utilize it in the best possible way. Now, the first 500 people who sign up through my link, which will be down in my description, will be able to experience and explore Skillshare entirely free for 1 month. And I think this is just such a great platform to have and to go to and to utilize to really hone in literally any skill that you want. If you are somebody who wants to start their own business, or you want to sell things on Etsy, or you want to have an ebook, or you want to be better with social media, or you want to have thumbnails that are like popping and understanding like what's working and what's not. That's definitely something that I am getting into more when it comes to just like my winter arc. I talked about it in last week's video, going deeper into different hobbies that actually just make me feel more creative and happy in life. And I do think sometimes we need some sort of platform or accountability in a way to keep us focused and to learn certain skills. And that's why I do like Skillshare, because they also just have like small mini classes that you can take and you can like complete them, and you can even get badges. So it kind of feels a little bit more rewarding. So if you'd like to try Skillshare, definitely check them out. 1 month free trial, the first 500 people, link down below. But with that said, let's go make a really yummy coffee and then get to work. Just a quick interlude, having some lunch. This is sourdough bread with guacamole and some chicken. And there's nothing better than a midday sandwich. And again, we need to fuel ourselves if we want to feel good. So just showing you that this is definitely one thing that makes me feel better. Okay, so it is past lunch now. I had my lunch, which is something I like to do, again, is to walk usually after I'm done eating, because it just breaks up the day and it's obviously good for you to walk. But for the most part, a lot of my computer work and stuff is done. Like my work is kind of like done for the day, which is interesting because sometimes it's not helpful when I get work done so quickly, because then I have the rest of the day to go one of two ways of being more productive or fall down the rabbit hole of just really wasting my time doing nothing. So on the days that I'm done things quite early and or I just need to stop, like there's still obviously always something I can kind of do, but sometimes you just need a break. I am gonna do a bunch of like random errands and stuff, because that gets me outside, that gets me getting my steps in, and it just takes me away from like looking at screens and stuff. So recently I got this book, okay, The Society of Lies, and I started reading it and I realized it wasn't that it was too dark, because I can handle a lot of darkness, but I didn't really feel like reading the first chapter right before I went to sleep. Like I read it and then it was just a little bit too graphic for me, and I just didn't feel like thinking about staring death in the face like that right before I went to sleep, and I just didn't like how I felt. So I'm gonna bring this back and try and find a different novel, because I do want to have one novel throughout the winter that I can just pick up whenever I want to read. I also kind of want to see what coloring books they have at Indigo as well, because I have been obsessed with my coloring book here. I got this at Indigo a long time ago. Not like I really need it, because I still have things to fill out in here, but it would be nice to kind of just look around. So I'm just gonna run some errands. I might also go to the grocery store and just basically keep going. Also, I do like to take time during usually the winter to get things done that I don't normally do, which will be like small areas of my apartment that need to be organized, that I'm just like leaving and never touching. I've done so much home organization actually in the past few weeks since I've had a lot of downtime. So I feel like for the most part, like the small little areas are pretty organized, but there is one more. So I figured like if I have nothing to do, I might as well do those small things again, instead of just wasting my time even on the days where I might have a little bit more free time. So let's get out of the house. Let's beat the gloomy blues, which honestly, the sun's still kind of out, which is nice, but you know, it's gonna hit. It really is gonna hit. Okay, at this point, I had one of those days where you leave your place and it costs you so much money. So I figured I'll just quickly show you what I got. I was kind of wanting a jacket that wasn't a winter jacket. Of course, I showed you the Aritzia one that I have. Like that's my winter Canadian jacket for this winter. Like I don't need to rebuy another one. But I don't have anything that's a little bit more like formal, more put together. Maybe if I'm not in the trenches walking my 10K steps, not caring what I look like I don't have a jacket that's really like that. Did I need one? Not really, but it's kind of nice to like, you know, like if you're going to a Christmas market or you're going for coffee or you're going somewhere cute and you kind of want to look put together, but you don't want your huge like big jacket. So I was like, if I find something, maybe I'll get it. And I've been kind of wanting something like this. So I got this little jacket. I don't know, I guess it's called like it's not a trench coat. I don't know what it's called, but it's one of those like longer jackets. This goes like to my knees. It's kind of probably hard to see because I'm wearing all black, but I thought it was really cute. It wraps around your waist like this. Obviously I'll probably like keep it open as I'm walking. I feel like this is just giving like in the city, going to grab coffee on a Saturday morning, looking a little bit more put together. This is from Zara. I wasn't even planning on going in there, but my friend was actually there, and then I saw this jacket and it was not too expensive. So I figured this would be good. It also has a hood, which I love because on the days when my hair is not like that, I can put it up. Also, the other day, I ended up getting this really beautiful scarf because I lost mine last year, so I don't have one, and I really love using scarves as a way to just make me really warm, especially on the days where I do want to wear something that's a little bit lighter. So I have this, and it actually just goes so perfect with this. Like, this is so November. This is so December. This is very winter. This is actually from Steve Madden, but I got it at Winners, and it was originally like $42, but I got it for like 22 or something, or $20, but like obviously with tax. So I felt like that was a steal. And then I also grabbed just some like nice little silky, kind of like suede-y little gloves that I can wear on my walks, because it is gonna start getting really cold, and I actually don't have any ones for the winter. So this will be just nice when I go on my walks to wear this. So I feel like this is so cute. And also, this scarf goes perfectly with my Aritzia jacket, because there's a little bit, like, this is kind of like beige, brownish. So it's gonna work regardless of what jacket that I have. So I ended up getting that. It was a little bit of an impulse, but not really, because I kind of wanted to potentially look at jackets that were like this. Now, as for books, I am not a fiction reader, so it is so hard for me to know what book to get. And of course, I'm picking up books, I'm reading the backs of them, like the romance ones, the mystery ones, but I just can't make a decision. I don't know if it's gonna be good. I'm not a fiction reader, so I don't know, I just feel like it's really difficult. So I was in the bookstore for so long, not really knowing what to get, and I ended up getting 2 books. So first I got How to Winter. This is not really a fiction book, and this is kind of fitting because we're talking about like seasonal depression and stuff like that. So it says, harness your mindset to thrive on cold, dark, or difficult days. Now, I don't like really getting self-development books anymore. I feel like I went through that phase so many years ago. I have a huge bookshelf filled with all the self-development books like ever, to the point where I even wrote my own. If you guys are new here, I have a book, The Ultimate Glow Guide, which will be linked down below. You can get it at Indigo. I was actually looking for my book. It said it was in store, but I could not find it. And there was this guy that was sitting around like part of the self-help area. So I don't know if he was covering it or not, but I wanted to like get a little clip of it. But regardless, it's at your bookstores, you can get it on Amazon, things like that. And although I believe my book is a great story and very helpful for those who are struggling on their glow up journeys and getting out of self-sabotage and getting deeper into why you do the things that you do, of course, I have come such a long way from needing a lot of that type of advice, really. And I'm also a very seasoned journaler. So like, I don't need prompts really. I have prompts in my book, which is great for people who are starting out. But anyways, so I don't usually get like any self-development stuff, because it's not that I think that I know everything, but I'm just kind of like, I don't need to always bombard myself with more information and new things unless I really want to. But there was something about this book, and it talked about how like it's a perfect mix of science, storytelling, and practical advice. But I just haven't picked up a self-development book that was like specifically for like the winter time and how we experience winter as human beings. And I think that it's actually such an important thing to understand, like psychology wise and like human behavior wise, like how we can really thrive and just live a good life throughout winter, considering it's so many months of the year for many people in the world. Obviously not everyone goes through like deep seasonal changes, but over the years for sure, I've just really learned that like there is just such a clear need to do things differently in the winter. And how do we stop resisting winter? How do we stop pushing ourselves to do the things that don't even align? How do we support ourselves better, whether that is like physically, mentally, emotionally, like relationships, life, like socially, everything. And it just, for me at least, it really allows me to have a better quality of life when I'm not like living in resistance. And I feel like all of my life when I was younger, like I only lived for summers. I only lived for freaking summers. I only cared about summers. I only enjoyed summer. I just went into deep, dark depressions in the wintertime, but also body image played a huge role when it came to like summers. I only cared about what I looked like so that I could like look good in bikini. I also talk about that a lot in the Ultimate Glow Up Guide, my book. So anyways, I am kind of fascinated with like seasonal changes and living cyclically, also like living by your cycle. That's something that I do. So I'm gonna read this when I feel called to read this, and I'll definitely let you guys know if it's an interesting read at all. I feel like it is, and that's saying a lot because I really don't pick up self-development books anymore. And then I got this book. It is called Pink Glass Houses. And apparently it's just like a bunch of different really rich people who live in Miami, and they have a bunch of kind of like socialite drama in a way. I don't know. Like I don't really want to read a super deep book. I don't know. I feel like maybe I just like lived way too deep of a life that like that's just not really what I'm trying to invite into my life. Like I love a good mystery. I love a good psychological thriller when it comes to like movies and stuff, but I don't know. I would just kind of want something a little bit lighter, and I feel like this will keep my attention. And I do like some drama. Like I really do. It really helps me balance out the darkness of who I am as a person, as a Scorpio, as the things that I've gone through in my life, the things that I talk about online. So for me, like, I don't know. I know some people like don't like drama and they don't like, you know, reality TV and stuff like that, but I feel like for me, it just balances me out. Now, the last thing I got was an impulse purchase. Okay, but for one, I love Indigo's like throw blankets. I have so many of them, and I really kind of did want another one. I have my favorite one from there, and it's like a white cream one, and it's just, they just have the best quality stuff. But they had a sale, which I know they've had it last year too, where these blankets were only $25 if you spent $50 or more, and I already knew that I was going to be spending $50 with these two combined. Canadian, by the way. Canadian prices are ridiculous, but I figured, let me just get it, okay? So did I need it? No, but this I know I'm gonna use all the time. I'm like a blanket person, always. I am cold all the time. And when I do lay down to go to sleep, I like to have blankets all around me. So partly this did make me feel better, although is it making my bank account feel any better? Probably not, but you know what? Sometimes you just need to treat yourself if you can. Okay, so I just got a PR package, and the PR package is YSL. So we're gonna unpack it together because I've never gotten a YSL wow package before. Hello. Wow, okay, so these are the YSL Love Shine lipsticks. So I guess there's a little bit of shine on each one because I do like a little bit of color on my lips, but I don't like a matte. And it looks like some of these are like glossy. So I am gonna not wanna open these and use them because they look so nice. This is really pink and there's like a little bit of a gloss on it that you can see. Wow, that's amazing. Wow, what a good day. See, you never know. You just never know how your day is gonna go. Sometimes it just turns out better than you expected. Anyways, I'm gonna put all this stuff away and then do something with my day. Okay, so just finished another shift in the office, aka coloring another one of these because I'm addicted, and it really just makes my mental health a little bit less chaotic when I take time in between my day with whatever it is that I'm doing to do something that has nothing to do with work or just like consuming content or being on my phone. I'm pretty sure I've already been talking about this like a lot, but this has really been helping me. But it is like, oh my gosh, 7 o'clock. It is pitch black out, but it's still like crazy because it's really not that late. Although like I wake up so early that I feel like I've lived 10,000 lives, but I'm actually just gonna go on one last walk because I feel like I still have a little bit of time before I wanna eat a little bit of soup before I wind down for the night and then go to sleep. And I am at like, oh my gosh, I'm at like 10,000, almost at 10,000 steps already, which is perfect. That is another goal of mine. But I don't even focus too much on like getting the 10K. It's more about, can I move in the morning, midday, and hopefully at night? But I don't stress too much about going out at night. Well, one, because it's like sometimes you just don't want to go out at night. In the summertime, for sure, I used to do a lot of sunset walks and stuff, but when I'm done eating is when I will get up and then I do like a quick tidy of my entire place. So I feel like that kind of gives me the movement that I'm looking for after dinner. Sometimes I don't really worry about it too much. There's a part of me that doesn't want to go because it's dark out and like it feels like I just want to get into bed, but I want to push myself to get more used to going out at this time and taking a walk and like, you know, like the night's not over in a way, because I just feel like it helps me transition better into the winter instead of just feeling super depressed and not wanting to do anything. And obviously there's a balance of like you not wanting to push yourself to do things, but then also what I said today, just because the weather is different or just because the seasons are changing, you don't have to not take care of yourself. You just kind of have to adapt. Like you just kind of have to get used to the fact that, yep, like now it's later, but I can still go on a walk. Like obviously it's dependent on where you're walking and maybe you need to walk with someone and this, that. But essentially just trying to make life more normal in the longer dark periods, essentially. And I think I'm gonna listen to a podcast because I feel like I like listening to self-development stuff like when I'm on the go because I feel like I can focus versus at home. It's not that I don't like listening to podcasts or like self-development stuff, but usually like I want to watch reality TV. Also, I binged watched Love is Blind season 7. Oh my gosh. I have so many thoughts and I don't really know exactly where I need to like say them. Now the reunion is tonight, but I kind of want to leave the reunion for like other nights and stuff. But anyways, I have been watching commentary on that as I've been coloring, which I think again just boosts my mood a little bit because life doesn't have to be so serious all the time. Anyways, let's go for a night walk. Okay, it is like 9:30. I have finished everything I need to do before I get into bed, which always makes me feel so good and motivated for the morning. Like if I don't set myself up for success in the morning, then I will have a non-productive day. So like I already kind of said, I always make sure to clean my space. So I just like make sure all my dishes are done. I make sure everything is like organized as much as possible. Things do not need to be perfect. I make sure like everything is all tied up here. Make sure my blinds are down. I always put my, well, I guess I don't even know if the AC, like if there's cold air anymore because it's now almost November, but regardless, I drop the temperature in my room because that helps me sleep a lot better. I brushed my teeth, I did my skincare. I made sure that my humidifier was filled up. I do that every single night just to help me kind of transition into that more drier atmosphere of air. We have 100 million blankets ready to be set up so I can sleep tonight. By the way, this is my favorite one now, obviously. It's just the feeling, the silkiness. It's honestly luxury. I'm so happy I actually got this. Like I do not regret this like random impulse buy. And I have this one here. This is actually from Hey You, or a Hey You event that I went to essentially. There's just particular blankets that I like to sleep with on top of my duvet, of course. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is start one of these books. I think I'm gonna start The How to Winter. I feel like it's something that I am interested in reading right now. I've been really trying to do my best when I'm going to sleep to just not even have the habit of scrolling on my phone or sitting on my phone, because I feel like what I was doing for a while in the summertime was like getting into bed and even trying to get into bed like decently early, but I would give myself like a 30-minute like session to be able to go on my phone if I wanted to, which sometimes is fine. And like sometimes I'll do that even like on the weekends and stuff, but I just like how I feel better when I just don't even do that before bed, like obviously. So I've really just been trying to do things that I don't really need to, but I want to on my phone, out of my room. And then when I come in here, honestly, the only thing that I'm doing is I'm either falling asleep to a guided meditation. I use the Nerva app for like IBS hypnotherapy meditations, or I'll just fall asleep because I've been so good with my sleep schedule that my body's naturally just tired and I'm just getting in bed at the right time. So I'm not pushing past that window of time where you get really tired and then you wait too long and then you're kind of awake again. Like I just kind of go to sleep. But I do always put on white noise. This is like just this random little like, it's not even an iPad, so I don't know what to call that, but I just put these rain sounds on and I literally just like let it play the entire night. Also, I've been doing castor oil packs on my stomach because it is been shown to help with people who have digestion and gut health issues. It's making such an annoying ring, but whatever. It says beauty and wellness optimizer. It doesn't say really anything about your digestion, but this is the proper oil in the right container and everything. That came with the actual pack. So I think they just can't market it a certain way. That's why it is marketed like this. But castor oil is a great oil for so many different things. And I actually mix it with some jojoba oil as well because the vitamin E in that oil goes well with the castor oil. Now this is like the little castor oil pack. This looks gross, but it's just oil. It's nothing like dirty or anything. It's actually quite clean, but I put like a few dabs of the oil on here and then I just wrap it like around my stomach, and I usually just sleep with it. If I wake up in the middle of the night, I'll just take it off. It's usually like absorbed, but then I also do like a little massage on my stomach as well because it's just really soothing. I feel like castor oil packs right now are kind of going viral on TikTok, which then makes it seem as if it's like this, I don't know, you know, when things just become a trend when it comes to wellness or like holistic wellness, and then it gets to a point where it just looks like it's pseudoscience. But castor oil like dates back very far, especially in the holistic realm. I actually learned about them when I did get diagnosed with IBD in like 2017. So it's been such a long time since I even like really thought about them, and it's not like I'm using it as if it's like this end all be all thing that's gonna like fix my digestion or anything like that. But I try and do things that will just support myself, like the same way as like taking supplements and everything. And it's very interesting, castor oil. Like I would definitely like look into it if you want, but it's something about the oil, how it like deeply penetrates into your skin essentially, and it can help promote digestion, but also like detox your liver and things like that. But I mean, to each their own. Like I wouldn't sit here and be like, oh my gosh, like do castor oil packs, it's gonna change your entire life. Like if you're highly stressed, if you have an autoimmune disease, if you don't eat well, if you don't move your body, if you're not hydrated, if you don't do like the basic things to keep you healthy and sleeping, like you can do castor oil pack all you want and like maybe it will help, but it might not. And even if it does help, you still want to like think about your body and your mind and like your mental health and the way that you deal with stress, like in a holistic way. You don't ever want to just look at this one thing that's going to change your life, because I think that can leave you very vulnerable. I think even when it comes to like medication too, I'm on medication right now for my IBD, but I've always looked at it as like, it can support me if I need, if my body can't do its own healing, because there's just things that you cannot control genetically. There's just things, you know, or in general, sometimes you just get sick and you need medication. Like it is what it is, but I still like to always work on the root cause of certain things as much as I can and support myself the best way. Like I'm never gonna be somebody who is gonna go on medication for something and be like, okay, let me just keep doing my bad habits that I know will probably not make the disease or the thing that I'm struggling with better, you know? Like for instance, if I was somebody who went the route of taking antidepressants, which I have been offered them multiple times throughout my life, through doctors and things like that, but I've always opted out of it. And I really don't think at this level of my life that I actually need that anymore. It's just like certain periods of time where I also like didn't understand like what trauma was, and I didn't know how to process my emotions, and I didn't go to therapy, like all of those things. It was kind of just like a normal thing growing up to like hear that. Like it ran in my family as well. So like sometimes it's like if you're depressed and you just go on those medications, totally fine if you have to do that. Like some people literally need to do that. But let's say like I decided to, for whatever reason, knowing what I know now, like I wouldn't continue to like, I don't do this, but I wouldn't drink all the time, because drinking is such a depressant for me that like I'm not gonna take medication just to basically combat the drinking, you know? I'm not gonna, now that I'm on antidepressants or on medication that can help my body like get back into homeostasis, I'm not gonna not take care of myself and not sleep right and not eat well, or at least do the best that I can, you know? Obviously you can't be perfect, and that's why I think medication is great, because there's just some times in your life where you literally can't, you know, like you can't naturally heal on your own in a way. Like there's just certain environments I remember when I was even going through certain flare-ups with my IBD back in the day, where I'd be bartending till like 2 a.m. in the morning. The most highly stressed place you could be, genuinely, especially me, because like I was not that good at like dealing with stress. Like I was able to be a really good worker, and I could kind of like on the outside handle it, but inside, internally, I was like so incredibly stressed all the time. So managing and bartending and doing so much of that work every single night, so stimulated, so much in fight or flight, coming out of a lifestyle that was already just fight or flight to begin with, I would be working till like 2 a.m. and then I would get home at like 3 a.m. and then I would have to go to school, like get up at like 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. to go drive to school. Like all of that is so stressful when you already come from like no money. You're stressing about money every single day. You also like don't know how to manage stress to begin with. Like I was such a control freak, like 10 times worse than I ever was now, and a perfectionist, and like had an ED, like 100 million things. So to assume that I was gonna be able to just heal holistically in that time period is like, it's almost doing myself a disservice. So obviously in those circumstances, it's like, yeah, like medication or certain support is going to be the best. And like those were a lot of circumstances where I didn't even have a lot of control over. Like there was a lot of things that I wasn't even deciding to do that just ended up stressing me the F out. So, you know, always just figuring out what works for you and supporting yourself. And I think that it's a journey. And over the years, I've just learned, you know, different ways to manage stress, different ways to get myself out of a financial stressful life, building a life that I actually enjoy. And like that slowly lowers the amount of stress that we'll have on your body, your physical body, your mental health, things like that. And you'll become more resilient to be able to even incorporate healthier habits and work on these things in a more holistic way. But don't ever think that like, I don't know, you're failing or you're not doing it right if you can't do it naturally. But I do think the best thing that we can do for ourselves, as much as we can with the information that we have and with what we can do, is to just try not to make things worse, even if you do have like a medication that you're taking, or, you know, I don't know. Like that's just how I kind of move through life. I'm just ranting at this point. And I think that like I used to be like this when I was younger, and I think it's kind of like natural, but you know, you don't really care about your health until you lose it. And then once you get it back, you're kind of just like, all right, back to normal, which is fine because you're allowed to and you want to go back to normal. But it's kind of just to see, okay, well, is there anything that did lead me down this path so that maybe I can course correct a little bit, or I can prevent a little bit? And it doesn't mean that you're going to completely be able to even prevent it or it was your fault or anything like that. But that's just kind of how I look at life now. It's like, okay, maybe there was a few things that I handled here that I could do differently, or these habits that probably do not serve me even as I get better. And I think that that will give you the best shot usually at healing or just being in a like better mental health state, I guess. Like for me, when it comes to my mental health, there's just things that I know will make it worse. So I'm just gonna not do those things, you know? So anyways, I'm going to read, lay down, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Morning, everyone. It is a good day to have a good day. My hair is currently drying, so like let's just ignore that. This blanket is everything. This is all I've been touching for the past day now. As you can see, I woke up early this morning, as I usually do. I had my supplements. It was really early. I think it was like 5 a.m.-ish, around 5 a.m. that I woke up. So sometimes when I wake up really early and I'm not hungry right away, I have been just drinking some electrolytes that's what the drink was that I made this morning, and some vitamin D and like probiotics and stuff. And then I just wait until I get hungry, which I had my butternut squash soup with a little bit of chicken in it, and it was perfect. And there's nothing really that I'm really interested in doing right now other than working in the mornings, because it's just so early and I feel like it's such a great time to work, and it makes me feel really good and accomplished when I'm working. So I worked for a few hours. I actually did basically like my November reset. I can't believe it's already November. Well, the day that I'm filming this is the 31st. So I did my finances, like my bookkeeping. I paid all my bills. I just like made sure everything was the way that it needs to be. I also did some planning. So like looking at the month ahead and seeing what's happening in the month of November, and making sure that all of my appointments and everything are properly scheduled, just making sure everything is set. And then also just looking at where my free time will be and what plans that I can make, which is so helpful when it comes to seasonal depression, is not only, yes, to have a plan so you feel like you're getting things done, but also just to have things to look forward to. And next week is my birthday, so I have a lot of things to look forward to, so that's really exciting. But I was even starting my November mood board, because I'm honestly so over my fall mood board already. Like obviously it looks so cute and so fall and so aesthetic, but at this point, I want a new color scheme. I want a new aesthetic. I want like November, like a little bit lighter, more wintry vibes. So that's what I was working on this morning. It's not done yet, but I like to just do that to transition myself into a new month. So I spent time doing that. I went on a walk. I was able to get the sun again, which is so amazing. And now I am back here. I just finished my beautiful coffee. I'm gonna get ready and record a podcast episode. Last night, actually, I started reading the book, How to Winter, and I really like it. I just know that I'm gonna like it because you can tell that it's a story from the author of them actually like experiencing different types of winters in the most northern hemisphere, but also it kind of gives you, from what I'm reading right now, gives you like actual facts about people who live in places where it's like super up north, and how, you know, it's actually much more of like a mindset shift than it is just like you living in a place where there's not a lot of sun. Like obviously, yes, that can affect your vitamin D levels and things like that, but in the book so far, they're even talking about like statistics and how you would assume people who are living in the most northern parts of the world, they would be depressed all the time. They would have like low levels of vitamin D, like all of these things. But there isn't actually that much discrepancy between like how they live in the summer when the sun is out a lot more than the winter time. It's actually more to do with like their mindsets and the way that they view the winter time, and the non-resistance that they have. So I'm excited to like hear more about that and learn more about that. And you know, obviously on one hand, not having sun will affect you, I feel, and everyone's a little bit different. When I go out in the morning and the sun is out, I feel like so amazing and so motivated. So obviously that plays a role, but really your mentality about things in your life will dictate how you experience them and how you can show up. And that's like always been the way that I've moved through life, honestly, is like, how can I view what I have right now in a different light? How can I find more blessings and gratitude and like happiness within this moment, even if it's not necessarily the thing that I want right now, which might be like dead summer and like longer days and, you know, 100% motivation all the time. And of course it does have to do with some of your habits, right? Like if you're sleeping well, like this morning, I woke up early as fuck because I got enough sleep. So in the morning, like I'm not in like the worst mood because I got enough sleep, and I have goals and things to work on. So like I feel like I have a purpose and like a passion in something. But if you don't have those things, then yeah, like you're probably not gonna be like that happy. Like even in the summertime, like if you don't really have much going on, yeah, you might feel a little bit depressed. So kind of like working on that in your own life can be very beneficial and helpful. And I love doing a lot more of that in the wintertime. Also, another thing I forgot to mention is I really like to journal. I journal all the time. I have like 50,000 million ones of these journals. And I think if you really struggle with negative self-talk, limiting beliefs, just feeling like everything is blah, I really think that picking up a journal practice can be very beneficial for your mental health. Thinking out loud and learning to think better about your life is very helpful. Being grateful for the things that you have, writing out your goals, thinking about your dreams and what you want to pursue in this lifetime, and just getting things out, even if it's negative, it can be so beneficial. And I actually have 3 different journal guides that are digital that you guys can get if you want, if you don't know where to start when it comes to journaling. I have one for your inner child discovery, like inner child journal prompt guides, and like it has shadow work in it and everything like that. And then I have an abundance mindset one and also a heal to manifest one. So you can take a look at them down below if you want. There's so many of you guys have gotten them. I think it's just like helpful if you don't really know where to start, or you kind of want to connect deeper to different parts of you, or you don't know why maybe you're doing certain behaviors, or where this deep-rooted like self-talk might be coming from that might not be helpful. So I would definitely check that out. But obviously, like for me, I just free write all the time. Anyways, I'm gonna go record the podcast and then I will show you guys what I get up to next. Okay, it is a little later in the day. I finished my podcast episode. As you guys saw that I was getting ready. I tried this YSL shade 05, so shade 5, in pink something, I forget. Stunning. But this gives me the exact color that I want and that I usually get. Like, this is probably not even like very nice. I just got back from a walk, okay? But I usually wear this shade specifically, and it looks actually darker than it actually goes on, which is nice because it's more of like a pink. I thought it was gonna be like a little bit of like a dark mauve red. Anyways, it has the perfect like glaze to it. It literally feels like I put on a gloss, but it's not too glossy. And it's not like a lipstick, which I never really like wearing because it's like way too dry. I honestly am surprised. Like, I'm not a designer type of makeup girl. Like, let's just be real. But if you are and you were wanting to get this, I would actually suggest getting this. I'll link the exact one that I like personally. I haven't tried them all, but I think that this one will for sure be my favorite. Like, this is hands down the one that I'm gonna be using. I think it's gonna be on sale for the Sephora sale. Anyways, we went to the grocery store because we are gonna make 2 things tonight. Like I said, I think I said it, but it's the 31st, so it's Halloween. I don't have any plans for Halloween because I didn't even know how I was gonna be feeling since like the past like few weeks with my flare up, so I never made plans. And honestly, like, I don't need to be doing anything. I care too much about my sleep that I wanna be in bed reading a book by like 9 p.m. or 10. That's fine if it's 10 o'clock. But we are gonna make 2 things: butternut squash soup, which I've already made this before, so it'll be really quick and easy. And I wanna make banana bread because I have 3 ripe bananas, so I might as well. But I figured let's just do a little haul since I did get a few other things. So I got some sourdough bread. I love sourdough bread. I have it on the side of my soup. I will make a sandwich out of it. That's like recently been my new fixation, is having like a midday chicken sandwich with some guacamole. Although I didn't get any guacamole, but I'll go to Farm Boy because they have really good pre-made guacamole. I got 1 tomato because this is gonna be a part of the soup. I got 1 plantain because I do like to have this on the weekend, so hopefully this will ripen up on the weekend. I got 2 sweet potatoes. I just like to have these on hand because they're just a great source of whole food that I can just chop up and eat on the side of any protein, and I love making sweet potato fries. And they last really long so they don't go bad. I got an onion because I'm gonna use that for the soup as well. I got some coconut milk for the soup as well, some chicken broth. I also got some white kidney beans, which is kind of nice to put that in the soup as well because it adds like a little bit more of that protein, fiber, of course. Such a good soup, but I do like to have protein with most of my meals, so the soup that I'm making alone doesn't really have like that much protein, but it's fine because I literally just add shredded chicken in it. So that's like a pro tip with like any soups that you end up making maybe this season. If for some reason it's not high in protein, I have makeup on this. If it's not high in protein, just like make a side dish of protein. Like get shredded chicken, add it even into your soup, or maybe some ground beef protein that you like. I got some plain Greek yogurt. There's something gross on this, but anyways, plain Greek yogurt I like to add in smoothies. Now, I said that smoothie season was done, and it really is done, okay? It's not really the best to be having like cold smoothies, but with my flare up, there are just things that I want to help my body be able to digest more. So that's why I've kind of been leaning on smoothies sometimes if I want something that's a little bit sweeter, but still high protein and that's blended. We must pick and choose our battles, and my hyperfixation is smoothies. So I got some frozen pineapple and some peaches. I also have banana, and I always freeze banana too. And then I put plain Greek yogurt in it, a little bit of protein powder. I will use some orange juice and like a little bit of water or whatever I need. I also got some regular bananas because you can't go wrong with those. And I also got some more chocolate chips because I do want to make cookies again at some point. So I just know that I'll need them. By the way, it is so gloomy out now and windy, and it's only like 3 p.m. and I'm so glad that I've just been doing the things that I need to do regardless of the weather, because I feel like it was inevitable that it was not gonna always be sunny, but I still feel so accomplished. So this is just your sign to keep pushing through it. Anyways, let's make some soup. Take in this masterpiece. This is everything you need and more this fall slash winter season, okay? This is like the easiest recipe you can make for soup as well, because all you have to do is roast all of the vegetables, the carrots, tomato, onion, garlic, butternut squash. The only thing I changed this time was instead of peeling the outside of the butternut squash, I just baked it whole and I just scooped it out, which is like way easier if you watched me make it the last time. But I will link the TikTok down below where I just followed this girl talk about it very quickly in like a 1-minute TikTok. It is so good. Look at the color as well, because there's turmeric in that. I put some nutmeg, rosemary, sage. Oh my gosh, it's so good. And then I topped it off with some of that shredded chicken, because you guys know I like to add some protein. And we have 2 pieces of toast, sourdough, because it is fantastic with this. Although I realized it was shaped like a regular piece of toast, and I love the way that sourdough looks when it's more of like the loaf, but whatever. This looks so good. I am going to eat this and really enjoy it. And our second thing we've baked today, which is banana bread. And there's actually chocolate chips in this. You just can't see it, but it is so moist and so good. I also put a little bit of brown sugar, or actually it's like golden brown sugar. That's kind of why it looks a little bit like that, but oh my gosh, I need to dive into this. Look at her, I just put some butter on. I am going to dive into this. And as you guys saw, I was watching Halloween Town because it's literally a tradition. You have to watch it on Halloween if you're staying in, of course. As I talked about on last week's vlog, I'm gonna take a shot of apple cider vinegar. This can help not raise your blood sugar super high if you are going to eat something that's like super sugary. And obviously, like just having a balanced meal before you eat dessert is the best route to go. But I didn't really have that other than the soup, but it's been a little while. So I learned this hack from the Glucose Goddess on Instagram. She's like really, really big and very scientific and has a lot of good information. So if you're interested in this, I mean, you can just look it up from her account, but yeah, I'm gonna take this. Okay guys, I am officially exhausted. That I do think has to do with the fact that I wake up so early, but I don't feel like super exhausted. Like, you know those days where you just don't get enough sleep and you definitely didn't sleep enough and the whole entire day like you feel like crap. And I'm very sensitive to like not getting the proper sleep, but I'm getting the right amount of sleep at good times, so I still feel good, but like I do right now feel that heaviness. But also I've done so much work today, and also sometimes like speaking on the podcast can be not draining, but like it does take a lot out of me sometimes. I ended up reading another chapter of the How to Winter book. I really recommend it. I really like it, and I think that it could help a lot of people change their perspective on winter. And I'm not even finished it yet, so I will definitely link that book down below. Maybe I'll have to talk about it on the podcast as well, because we'll be talking about like winter habits and things. So if you haven't already, definitely subscribe to my podcast channel, the Glow Up Secrets podcast, on YouTube as well, or you can just listen to it on Spotify and Apple. I'm gonna brush my teeth. I already washed my makeup off like a few hours ago, and I'm probably just going to do one of my guided meditations tonight because I'm so exhausted that I know I'll just fall asleep in like 3 seconds. And then I will wake up, and tomorrow is Friday, November 1st, new month. I was working on my mood board actually. Maybe I can show you guys. Okay, it is not finished. I don't know if this is gonna be the final product and placement of even like November. It's very rough. I was kind of done staring at a phone screen, so I'm gonna just like probably be a little creative in the morning, because I like to be really creative in the mornings, but also sometimes at night. But anyways, I just like making mood boards just to give me the vibe of like what I want the next month or season to be. And obviously very cozy, very self-care, winter, walking outside, which we will do. We will get our steps in, don't matter how. Lots of sleep, very cozy vibes. We have groceries because y'all know I'm in my cooking everything era. This is just cute, cozy coffee, enjoying, romanticizing winter. I'm all here for that. And this photo is kind of just like reminds me of my social life, honestly. There is an espresso martini here. This is not really me like wanting to put that on my board as if like I plan to drink this winter. It's more so like the heel, it's giving date night, it's giving out with the girls, it's giving solo night, whatever. Social life in a way, you know? So very cute, definitely a little bit obviously different than the one I have now. I really do like the one that I have now, but like as soon as it says November 1st on my computer, I need like lighter blues or dark cozy vibes, which this all is, but there's something about this color scheme and like the browns and stuff that reminds me of fall. Anyways, thanks for spending a few days with me making sure I don't go into the depths of a negative mindset around winter, which I have predicted that I would have a better mindset going into this winter than I did last winter, because I just learned so much about like the way you look at things will really dictate like how you experience them. And that's actually what she's talking about in the book, how there's people who have like fixed mindsets and growth mindsets and people who are more optimistic and more pessimistic, things like that. And I'm pretty optimistic, like genuinely very growth mindset, but obviously like you always move through life with a set of beliefs based off of your experiences, based off of the social norms. So when you're always hearing people say like, oh, like winter's coming, I'm gonna miss summer, it's gonna be depressing, this, that, like it kind of just is normal and you just kind of expect that. And of course your experience with winter in the past, you know, sometimes that's going to create the way that you perceive it's going to be moving forward. And it's not to deny that there are darker days and there's longer days and there's potentially more depressing days. Like that is all true, but you can change your mindset about it a little bit more. And I think that what my goal is first and foremost is for sure like working on my habits, because my habits are the things that will dictate how I will look at being in the wintertime. It just will. Like if I'm not taking care of myself, then I am so susceptible to like feeling like life is shit. But also just embracing winter and what you can do in the winter that you can't do in the summer, and having fun with life, because that's what you're supposed to do anyways. Like you're literally supposed to, you know, have a night where you're staying in if you can and watching Halloween Town. Like you don't need to work every single second of your life. You don't need to stress every single second of your life. You don't need to control every single second of your life. Like you're allowed to just relax and chill at some point. So I try and just do more of that in my life, and it's like it's a new season to do new things. So let's just do that, and I'll just keep vlogging. Next week, I've probably said this 100 times, is my birthday, and then I'm getting my period. So I really kind of want to slowly start getting back into the gym. This is actually what I did, and I'll go on like a tiny rant. Probably won't be that tiny. I paused my gym membership at this new gym that I joined in the summertime because I wasn't going as often. And I do have a gym in my condo, and it's beautiful and it's amazing and I can do everything there. But the reason why I joined a new gym in the first place was mainly because of the yoga classes and like the Pilates classes. Like it was such a good deal to get that. And then also just like working out in a new atmosphere. Like the gym is very sick. It's very nice. But I did pause it until like end of November because I'm like, there's not a point. I'm barely going. And if I really need to go, I can just go to my condo gym. So I'm feeling a little bit better, and I'm hoping that maybe like next week, or I guess after my period, I want to start going back to the gym, maybe like just once a week, and just doing a little bit of weights, because I really have not been strength training a lot, and I know I've been losing muscle, and I don't want to lose muscle because it's very precious and it's really keeps you healthy, especially as a woman. So, and of course it just like makes you look good. So maybe that will be like another vlog to come. So if you have any, I don't know, ideas of the vlog that you would like when it comes to like fitness related stuff, let me know, like tips and advice when it comes to getting back into it, because I'm technically going to be getting back into it. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.